All crypto games suck. NFTs are a scam. Any game that has NFTs is going to be horrible. I've heard it a million times. I'm tired of it, and today we're debunking those myths, and I'm going to show you 15 upcoming games that are about to release that you need to know about that just happen to have NFTs in them. It's mission time. Welcome back, agents. Secret Agent Stash here. We are at GIA headquarters, the Gaming Intelligence Agency, and today, in my latest intel report, I have 15 of the hottest up-and-coming games that happen to have NFTs in them that you don't know about. We're going to talk about all these games, and if you thought that NFT games are not going to work or crypto games are all horrible, and you're waiting around for something hot, today we have the hotness. So let's jump right into our list today in no particular order, but we're going with 15 of the hottest up-and-coming titles that are going to be launching soon. These are games that are not out yet, but will be launching within the next year or so. At the top of our list, we're going with Star Atlas. This is a space MMO that is very reminiscent of something like a Star Citizen, but incorporating NFTs in a level where you can use them for pretty much anything in the game. And there's tons of other ways that you can actually earn in this game too, by mining, by running different guilds, and it's expansive. It is in very early stage of development right now, being developed in UE5. The graphics look amazing, and I think there are only going to be bigger things coming for Star Atlas. They've been a bit of an underdog, but I think that it's an ambitious project, and we're going to see this becoming one of the leading space MMOs here over the next few years. Okay, heading here to our next pick is Dead Drop. This is a game being developed by Dr. Disrespect himself and his team over at Midnight Society. They have been constantly putting out great updates for this vertical extraction shooter. That means you're basically going up instead of out, right? There's no circle closing in, there's no gas, but you do have to start from the bottom and work your way to the top to try and extract with all of your loot. And they just released a fire new snapshot that is playable, but is still in early access right now. This game is going to take the extraction genre to a whole nother level, I can guarantee you that. And if you want a shot at Doc, he's in there playing all the time. Okay, next on our list is Grand Saga Unlimited. This is an action RPG MMO that is being developed and includes a really unique way to use NFTs, being able to level up and port your gear that you found or unique items and turn them into NFTs. Now, this is also an early stage development. They do have a playtest that is going on currently, but look for this anime style action RPG to be launching later this year. If that's your style of MMO, I mean, it looks great. And if you're a big fan of the kind of gacha style, anime style, this is going to be something you're definitely going to want to put on your radar. It is a Korean developed MMO. And so the story maybe is a little bit thin, but there is tons of action and tons of ways to group up and also PvP in this game. Now, if you like shooters, but you want something a little bit different, then take a look at My Pet Hooligan. This is a community-focused shooter game that goes well beyond just a game. They're really building unique IP here. These people that are creating this game are ex-Pixar and Disney Animation Studio leads, and so you can see that here in the animation, in the quality of the game itself, in the characters. They're going well beyond just having a really cool, fun Battle Royale style game. It takes shooters to a fun, cuddly level, but still with a bit of an edge there. And they are actually developing a movie and a bunch of other IPs. They have great motion capture. They're incorporating AI technology with NFTs as well, and getting ready here to launch a in-game token pretty soon too. So it's a great time to be looking at My Pet Hooligan if you're into shooters, but you're also a big fan of Disney with a little bit of an edge. Next up is Off the Grid. This is a cyberpunk-inspired style shooter that brings cybernetics to the forefront. Some really unique high-definition gameplay. When we talk about high definition, I mean, they're doing these high resolution scans that are going to be the basis for the NFTs in the game. The footage here looks amazing. I mean, to be able to get into this world, I think is going to be amazing, but it definitely looks like it puts a new spin on this genre, harking from some recent movies that maybe you've seen in particular, where we explore the kind of, seedy underbelly of cybernetics and what that would kind of look like in our world here. Reminiscent a little bit of cyberpunk in some sort of ways, but with a little bit more of a grittier edge is kind of how I see Off the Grid here. This game is still in very early development, but first things we're seeing here from this definitely makes it want to be on my radar here until I can get my hot little hands on it for sure. Up next is the Fabled. This is an RPG all the way that is very much Souls-like, and brings that high-level amount of combat to the Web3 and NFT-enabled world. You'll be able to have NFT characters that you'll be able to buy and sell, and also equipment. And you can see the look of it here. I mean, literally, this could be a level in Elden Ring. I mean, it has that same look and feel. The combat is very similar. So if you like that style of game, Elden Ring, it was a masterpiece of a game. And the Fabled is looking up to be a pretty good game as well. Huge enemies, good movement, and I'm just really waiting for a really in-depth storyline. Game is still in early development, but is somewhat playable right now. So you can go get a little bit of an idea of what this game is all about, playing their limited demos. Okay, this is a game that we're talked about here just recently on the channel called Engines of Fury. It's essentially a top-down, third-person shooter where you are going in a sci-fi world that is, Diablo-esque in look, with the isometric, but it's all about extraction, right? So you're going in and you're extracting with loot that you find while you go through these generative dungeons, right? These different generative dungeons, and then you can do things like build up your base or, switch up your gear. So it has a lot of really cool elements that you would want to see for this type of genre, but basically mashing up the top-down Diablo style genre, dungeon crawler, with an extraction shooter like Tarkov. So you're going in, getting items, and if you die, it's all gone. If you want to learn more about Engines of Fury, make sure you go check out my review here that I just did recently. Okay, up next on my list here is Shrapnel. This is yet another extraction shooter, which we've seen a couple actually on this list today, but Shrapnel is definitely bringing the high-tech world here to the NFT and Web3 gaming scene. Amazing visuals. Gameplay has been fast and furious so far. They've done a couple of demos, but there's nothing out currently that you can go download. But this is going to be one of those interesting ones that really puts a focus on a unique item that you're trying to extract with. And if you're looking at this trailer here, I mean, this is complete fire. I mean, we talk about, trailer looking like gameplay, and Shrapnel does a pretty damn good job of making the gameplay almost as good as their cinematic trailer here. This is one that has been on my radar for a while. They already have NFTs for it, in particular their SCU units, which are what you're actually going to use to extract these rare materials that you're seeing here, which the whole kind of, expanded universe of Shrapnel revolves around. Definitely one to keep on your radar if you love extraction shooters and you want to play something that is a little bit different, and maybe if he's even going to let you earn something that you're going to be able to walk away with and cash out with. Now, not to be outdone on the high-tech scene, but Metalcore brings a whole style, a different style of gameplay to mech-style games. This is a first-person shooter that mashes up with a mech-style game where you're essentially going into this battle royale situation and fighting on massive maps with like 50 versus 50 players, which is eventually what they're going for here in Metalcore. But you have to go in as a foot soldier and then kind of collect resources, level up, and build your mech, and then defend these different points here for your faction. And so they've really combined a lot of the interesting aspects of mech combat with first-person shooter combat, be able to go back and forth between the two to be able to help your faction to victory in a mass multi-online player battlefield here. I mean, we're talking about huge amounts of people. So I really love what Metalcore is pushing here, and you can play Metalcore in limited ways here, but I don't feel like it's reached its full potential. It's not fully launched yet, and we haven't really seen 50 versus 50 battle maps to date, but we know with all the polish they've been doing here recently that it is going to be coming soon. Okay, Last Expedition here is a game that combines yet again extraction shooter elements with some of the PvE type of elements that we've seen in some other games here that we've talked about on the list. Now, not only are you fighting against 3 other teams in Last Expedition to extract, trying to find different elements, you do have to find things for like crafting materials, and you also have to watch out for all of the native inhabitants that are literally going to swallow you whole if you don't make it out alive. Last Expedition is by far one of the best games coming from Gala Games, and one of my favorites on their list of games that they've been launching here. It is somewhat playable. They've been doing some limited play tests, but Last Expedition is really just getting started. One of the interesting things to note here is they actually have decentralized nodes that run the game. So you can own a Last Expedition server and have people playing on your customized Last Expedition server. Pretty cool. Okay, the next one on our list here is Victory Point. This is a game that is on the XRPL blockchain, and it's one of the first good-looking games to come from that blockchain. When you talk about Call of Duty clone, I mean, we don't want to go maybe that far, but Victory Point definitely does take many, many notes from Call of Duty. If you look at them compared to Modern Warfare, it looks almost as good. I mean, no lie, almost as good. And so Victory Point is in very early stages. They're getting ready to do their very first playtest. So this is something that you're looking to get into. It's a great time to be looking at Victory Point so you can get in on that first playtest. I'll definitely be there checking it out as well. But the maps look good. The gameplay looks smooth. I love the fact that they're going with a couple of different maps here with jungle and desert, and being able to expand into a blockchain that hasn't seen a lot of games developed on it is going to be interesting to see how it works here with Victory Point. Okay, a game that is actually more playable than most in this list is Champions Ascension. This is an arena battler, but it goes well beyond this. The team at Champions Ascension is essentially trying to create a whole metaverse type of world that has an arena battle at its core. So we're talking about 1v1 battles, kind of like what you would see in like a 3D Tekken style game, but with more fantasy style characters. And they built this whole world of Messina where this arena is housed, but there's so much more going on here. And we just saw our very first PvE event against Old Sally, a giant raid style boss that is an alligator, and it was pretty dang angry, which took on, it was 5 people required for this event. Champions Ascension is very playable right now, and it's actually free to play, although it's very limited. You can only go in on certain days. So if you want to go check it out, make sure you go check out their Discord or their website for more information. But this is one of those really cool, unique games that we don't see a lot of competition for, and I think Champions Ascension has done a great job of incorporating NFTs and making it stupid simple for people getting into the game without having any real blockchain knowledge, and of course for free. Can't beat that. Next on my list is a game that people seem to get confused on. It's called Huxley. No, this is not the game from 14 or 15 years ago, but it's a new up-and-coming game that is a counterpoint to a movie that is going to be launching underneath the same name. Huxley is in very early development stages, but if their cinematic trailer is any indication of the quality that they're bringing with this game, then I am definitely on board. Huxley looks amazing from a cinematic standpoint, but also has some of the very early gameplay to back it up. They did a very early play test, and it actually looks and feels pretty dang good for where they're at right now with just a basic demo of the gameplay. I love seeing the fact that we're seeing movies and games really combining here and one being the same. Right? Huxley is taking that to the next level, and I'm excited to see what they have here coming up in the future. But yet another shooter that will incorporate, that already incorporates NFTs, and they are out there. You can go buy these NFTs that will represent your character in game. Okay, now out of all the games on this list, Wildcard might be one of the most exciting cross-genre games. It is somewhat playable right now. You do need to have an access pass to kind of get in there for their weekly tests. But Wildcard is kind of a mashup of a TCG and then a MOBA, if you kind of slap them together in a 3D format. So you have decks of cards that are NFTs that you'll use to 1v1 against your opponent in a 3D, 3-lane MOBA kind of style battle arena. It's almost hard to describe. You just really got to watch the amazing gameplay here. But it is unique in its gameplay, and damn it if it's not fun. I played this game actually quite a few times, and out of everything on this list, it's one of the more playable games at this stage. And I would not be surprised if you saw Wildcard being one of the top games on Steam and being streamed on Twitch here over the next year. The team is being ruthless with their development cycles, and every time I play this game in this demo, it gets better and better every time. Make sure you go check out Wildcard because this one is going to be a winner for sure. Okay, rounding out our list here is a horror FPS game called the Bornlist. It's an interesting mix of, horror, dark kind of, scenes that, incorporates some PvE elements that I don't want to give too much away, but they are scary as all hell. And I think the Bornlist has done a good job in pivoting and iterating on their concept here over the last few months. And they're definitely, going into more of a closed demo playtest session now, but it's one to keep on your radar, and particularly if you love the horror genre. We don't see a lot of horror-themed shooters out there. I think they've really done a great job in capturing the ambiance that you want from a game like this in a way that makes complete sense and actually is a lot of fun and a little bit of a different take away from your just normal shooter, right? Instead of just your old kind of military type of shooter, the Bornlist takes it to yet another level. I'm looking forward to this game releasing, maybe not later this year, but maybe next year, and NFTs coming for them soon. Okay, agents, there you go. That is 15 of my top upcoming games. These are games that are yet to be released or in very, very early access that you want to keep on your radar. These are games that, yeah, they incorporate NFTs or blockchain in some sort of way, but most of these games are going to be hits in my opinion. Yeah, I think that these are ones you want to make sure if you love games, and particularly if you love shooters, you want to keep an eye on them, or keep an eye on this channel because we're going to keep you updated on them here as they developed. That's all we have for today, agents. As always, this briefing never happened. Secret Agent Stash, over and out.
Secret Agent Stash.